So here's a Democratic congressman on the show with Crystal Ball and Rising, and watch what happens here.
I do want to ask you, though, Congressman, about the underlying accusation. Hunter Biden was paid $50,000 a month while his father was vice president of the United States to sit on the board of a Ukrainian energy company, despite having no expertise in that whatsoever. Do you think that that is evidence of corruption?
So all of this has been discussed in the press, and Ukraine has said there was no substance to that. The president has historically long been involved with conspiracy theories. This is yet another conspiracy theory.
But
we can't lose sight of this simple fact.
We know that Hunter Biden did, in fact, earn $50,000 on this board. That's not a conspiracy theory. We know that he has little to no expertise in Ukrainian energy sector. So is that unseemly? Is that the type of thing that we should be accepting from a prominent Democrat?
So he does the knee jerk, which you're taught is you just call anything that's onto your corruption, you call it a conspiracy theory. He calls it a conspiracy theory that Hunter Biden had a $50,000 a month job. That's a verifiable fact. And she doesn't let him get away with it. Crystal Ball nails him. And I don't know why. Who do the guys think they're talking? They think they're on a regular news show. I think that's what they think.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
He thought he was on with Chuck Todd or Jake Tapper or Rachel Maddow or something, and that he didn't expect them to go. That's not how conspiracies work. This is a fact that he had that. So now he can't say that anymore. And now let's see what he says.
Again, that's a separate issue. There is no question that what the president is trying to do is to pressure an ally, a key strategic ally facing a dire threat from Russian troops, not just on their border, but in their territory, and putting U.S. interests at risk by withholding necessary military aid. Again, this puts at risk our national security.
Yeah,
so
I think we understand your position. I think we understand your position quite clearly. Let's make it a future event. If a Democrat wins the White House, should their vice president have a child who serves? Should they be allowed to have a child who serves on a foreign energy company's board with interests in the United States?
We can talk about what people should be allowed to invest in, what jobs
let's do it right
they should
now.
be allowed to take.
That's what we're doing. We're talking about it right now. We're asking you, should that person, do you see how horrible this looks for the Democrats? Do you see how easy this is to get them tied into knots over this? Do you see how this is going to be 100% failure to go after Trump on impeachment on this? It's amazing.
That was like the ultimate deflection. He's like, well, I mean, we can talk about that. Well, we're doing it now in something called an interview.
We're doing an interview where we're talking about it.
Again, a different issue. I know here in Congress we are required to file full disclosures of our financial positions, of any other positions we've had. I believe in transparency. I believe the American people have a right to understand that. But don't get lost in the discussion the fact that the President of the United States has abused the power of his office and put national interests ahead of our personal interests ahead of our national interests, risking our national
almost got
security.
that wrong.
That's my focus. That's what I want to hold this president to account, and that's what I believe this impeachment inquiry should focus upon.
Yeah, and Congressman, I think that's all fair. I think that this is an abuse of the office, no doubt. We could debate over whether it's impeachment worthy. But there's a political question here, too. Don't Democrats look hypocritical if they want to impeach the president for corruption while turning a blind eye to what may be lesser corruption on the Democratic side, but to say that, it's fine for a child to basically cash in on their parents' public service?
Again, I'm going to focus on the current office holder, the President of the United States, misusing his office, abusing his power, and putting his interests ahead of the national interest.
He memorized his script well.
That is my focus. We can have conversations about the other issues.
We
need to have transparency from our elected officials. We need to get big corporate money out of our elections. All of those are things that we need to do to restore people's faith in our government. We have to do that. But at this moment, at this time, the issue is, did the President of the United States abuse his office, put national interests subordinate to personal interests, and put our country at risk?
Well, you're very
this
good at
is the
staying
issue
on
that
message,
we are
sir,
focused
so
on the impeachment.
we appreciate your time.
So I don't know if you heard what he said. He said, well, you're really good at staying on message, but we appreciate your time.
Put our country at risk.
Well, you're very good at staying on message, sir, so we appreciate it.
Well, you're very good at staying on message, sir. So I think they think that's because the guy's wearing a suit, right? And it looks like it's a TV set, right? Obviously, somebody invested money. So, but I think that's why he was like, what the What am I on? What are you guys doing?
I said Trump's bad several times, and you're still asking me real questions. That's not part of the rules.
I even said conspiracy theory. What do you guys want from me? So Aaron, just let me get you already did say it, but what would be your sum up on the impeachment effort?
My sum up of the impeachment effort is I think that from what we know so far, it looks like Trump did something that I personally think is unethical. That I don't think he should be bringing up Joe Biden with a foreign leader and trying to enroll a foreign leader into investigating corruption allegations against Joe Biden, whether those allegations have merit or not. But I don't think this is worth the. I don't think this is worthy of an impeachment investigation, and certainly not worthy of all the hype and hoopla that this story has gotten. Given what we know so far, the transcript is ambiguous. It's Trump's top priority in talking to Zelensky, the Ukrainian president, is not even Joe Biden, which only comes up later on. His top priority is enrolling the Ukrainian president in an investigation of the origins of Russiagate, which I think is fair because Ukraine did have some involvement, although whether Trump gets the details right on that or not, I don't think so. But he still has the right, I think, to ask Ukraine to be involved. And I think it stands to do exactly what Russiagate did, which was distract everyone from the actual harm that Trump is doing to the country and the world. And also at a time when right now there is a Democratic primary, when there's a real opportunity to present to voters the alternative that Democrats can provide. What Democrats are doing here is guaranteeing that will be sidelined in favor of this another intra-elite drama that will consume Washington, that will bring up opportunities to highlight Joe Biden's corruption because, whether or not Biden fired this prosecutor to help his son, I've heard conflicting things about that. I don't think it will be easy to establish that. But just the fact that, as we've been talking about, Hunter Biden got a $50,000 a month gig at a Ukrainian gas company, Trump will be given ample opportunities to keep highlighting that and to keep exposing Democrats' hypocrisy. And, it's been said, and it's obvious, that if one of Trump's kids got that gig, got a similar gig, like a lucrative gas board, that would be worthy of impeachment right there. People would be drawing up articles of impeachment based on that. So Democrats are going to try to go after Trump for seeking an investigation into that. I think it's like Russiagate, another suicide mission.
So just imagine if Trump was able to overthrow Maduro in Venezuela. They instituted Guaido. And then Trump's kid, Don Jr., sat on the board of the energy company in Venezuela and got $50,000 a month. Yeah. Doesn't know anything about energy, doesn't know anything about Venezuela, but he is connected to the president, and we overthrew their government, so he gets to be on their board and get $50,000 a month. People would be going crazy. And so you have to remember that impeachment is a political process. People like to pretend it's about the rule of law. If it was about the rule of law, then George Bush wouldn't be able to do a dance routine with Ellen on daytime TV if it was about the rule of law, because he's a war criminal and he would be in jail. The head of our CIA is a bona fide torturer right now, not in jail. So this idea that somehow half the country is going to let you impeach a guy over some kind of bullshit technicality, which actually exposes the corruption in Joe Biden and the Obama administration, it ain't ever going to happen. In fact, it's going to boost him again. It's going to boost him again. And just like we were right about Russiagate, I know about this. Again, Trump will be reelected in 2020 if this is what the Democrats run on. And I will come back and run this tape, and we will, again, take no pleasure in being right about it again. But we will be right about it again. Go ahead.
And Jim, if you read some leftist commentators in The Intercept and in The Nation, there's this idea that, okay, fine, yeah, Ukraine gate, it's narrow, okay, it's not exactly what we want, but this will be an opportunity, they say, to highlight Trump's more serious crimes. No, it won't.
No, it won't.
No, it won't. What was Russiagate? Russiagate was all about the narrow concerns of national security state officials, and this is what Ukraine Gate is now. Again, no one's going to be talking about genocide in Yemen or Trump's tax cuts benefiting the wealthy or attacks on healthcare, attacks on workers, attacks on immigrants. It's going to be all about Ukraine. It's going to be all about Ukraine and the fact that right now there's this new scandal about the classification system for the records of the calls between Trump and foreign leaders. As if anybody cares about that. As if average people, especially in the swing states, are going to look at that and say, "Oh my God, this guy's got to go. I've had enough." It's Democrats are basically doing everything they can to avoid talking about the issues that impact people's lives. It's just bizarre to witness. And what's annoying is that we thought we were over that at least. Like, fine, Russiagate was torture. It was so stupid, but it was done. Now at least we had a primary and we could, deal with all the bullshit that comes with the primary. But at least there was some space within that for some real ideas to be debated. That's what was happening. But all this is going to silence all that, or at least sideline it for a considerable period of time.
And again, it was the whistleblower was a CIA guy who now went back to the CIA and he's gone. So that's, by the way, that's not a whistleblower. A whistleblower is someone in the CIA who blows the whistle on the CIA. It's not a CIA guy inside the White House who does a politically motivated hit job on the president. That's not a whistleblower. That's a spook doing what spooks do. Hey everybody, we're doing a live show every Sunday in October in Hollywood, California at the Sycamore Tavern. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com for a link for tickets and become a patron. We give you hours of bonus material every month. Become a premium member. Go to jimmydorecomedy.com and sign up. Thanks for your support.